All right. Well, hello. I'm just getting the stream ready here. There's going to be a. I will start actually opening the computer at 9:15. But I thought I saw a couple people waiting, and I wanted to make sure I had everything set up correctly. So I am going to open it up like this. But you'll have to forgive me. I'm going to be a little quiet here while I get things in order, get the stream ready, kind of clean up a little bit of a mess here before we get started. So just hang out. Maybe I'll make a note so folks know. I'll say starts at 9:15 PDT. Okay, I got my iPad set up here. I'm going to use this to see the comments if anybody posts anything. Oh, Gesundheit. If you're joining me, leave a comment in the live chat. Just let me know that you are here. Just under 15 minutes until we get started here, so stick around. Just under 15 minutes until we get started here, so stick around. Little feedback. Decided to do a last minute live stream this evening period. Join me. Oh, we have a few people hanging out there waiting. All right, welcome. Just a few more minutes. I'm gonna wait until 9:15, just 10 more minutes. And then we'll start opening this up, which is a little trickier than it looks. I did it once without cracking any plastic. Hopefully I can do it again. This time on camera. That's probably a lot to ask. you're hanging out, oh, I was just gonna say, leave a comment in the chat, but it looks like lemon herb or lemon herb 1 said clean looking 2C. Thanks for that. Yeah. Well, it wasn't always clean. You might be able to see in here, although that's probably a big ask with the lighting. And there's a little bit of dirt in here. This thing was actually filthy when I got it, and I don't know if I have another video, but I didn't really get any good pictures of just how dirty it was. But I think the dirt formed like a protective layer against yellowing, because it's not yellow at all. The monitor, on the other hand, was not as dirty, but it's certainly, let me see if I can zoom out a little, give you a little bit of light. Yeah, it's a little bit yellower. Quite a bit yellower. So yeah, I think the dirt and grit actually protected it in a way. And then just using Dawn dish soap, I was able to get it really clean. I did a live stream the end of last week, I think, where I just I pulled all the keys off and cleaned them. Did the spring removal, these little springs. Yeah, these little guys. I pulled them out of each one, pulled the keycaps off, then pulled these little springs out of each switch to get rid of this crunchiness that was happening, and I got rid of the rubber membrane underneath. And now it types great. I mean, as good as these keyboards ever typed. So, oh, you ended up swapping the Mac Effects black case. Well, yeah, I mean, those are great options too if these things don't hold up. And if I crack this thing up trying to get the ROM4x in, I might end up having to get a Mac Effects case. That wouldn't be the worst thing, but I like that this is in such good shape. And so the reset button is a little different plastic, I guess, than the case. And so you can see it's just a hair whiter and lighter and brighter than the case itself, but real close. So I have a feeling that these things, if I remember correctly, when they get real yellow, the reset button stays white. And here there's barely a difference between the white of the reset and the platinum white of the case itself. So it's a good sign. Yeah, like 6 more minutes and then I'll get started. So I don't want to give away too much about what I'm going to do and why I'm doing it and all that. I was going to say why I'm doing it, but why I'm putting the ROM4x in. But I'll wait. I'll wait till 9:15. 5 more minutes. We have about 5 people watching. One of them's me, so 4 people plus me. I've got the iPad here next to me, so I can see. What's going on in the chat and whatnot. Let me just angle this thing. No, I don't want to stop streaming. I don't know why it said that. So fiddly, the live stream. NTE, I don't know if you've ever used anything from NTE, but my understanding is they're going or went out of business, which kind of stinks. Local electronics shop is where I bought these. I bought a whole bunch of them. So this is solder braid, the wick, copper wick. Anyway, not using the mics tonight. Hopefully you guys can hear me okay. I'm just using the iPhone mic. I didn't bother setting up the mics since I'm only about, I don't know, a foot away from the iPhone camera. I might end up wearing my magnifiers if I need them. Those are ready. This is the hot holder. I picked this up at VCF SoCal. There was a booth there, thehotholder.com. It's like a silicone block and you can stick things in it. So if you're soldering something, you can hold the PCB or the wires or kind of anything. Like if you were, take these, like if I wanted to solder these 2 giant resistors together, I could set it, whoa, could set it like this, and then it would hold them like that. Kind of cool. I don't use it a ton, but occasionally it's helped me out. It's better than, you know, for small things than getting the helping hands and the vice grip and all of that. Yeah, you don't, Lemon Herb said, I don't know if I ever paid attention to solder braid brands. NTE made a whole bunch of stuff, or they sold it anyway. And it was, you know, of consistent quality. So you could buy, I think they made components and other, like they had a whole catalog of things. So, and you could get them at the local store. But yeah, now it's just sort of these no-name brands from China on Amazon. Yeah, I like the holder device. I do too. All right, we have a couple other people waiting. 9:13, so 2 more minutes, and then we'll crack into the case. Hopefully not crack the case, but crack into the case and see about installing the ROM4x. I guess I should look online and see exactly which chip I'm going to be replacing. That would be good. ROM4x. Burn the ROM image. Once you have a ROM chip, generally the instructions here are relevant. You won't need to cut any traces or solder over jumper wires unless you're installing this ROM in an original 2C, which I think we are. Let me get those instructions. Turn off the Apple IIc, disconnect the power cord, turn the computer over, remove the 6 screws, turn the 2C over, flip the keyboard into the disk drive. Yeah, so I believe we have to do these modifications to the board. And it's the monitor IC, yeah. Okay, I think I read that before somewhere, but there's these changes that you have to do to the board itself. Okay, well, I guess we should get started. It's 9:15. So, welcome to the channel and the live stream tonight. This is Levi's Digital Voyage, and I'm Levi. Kind of first things first, we're going to be doing the ROM4x installation. This is a upgraded ROM that gives you a few more features. Just like if you've used an Apple IIgs, you can press closed Apple, control reset, and get additional features at self-test. One of the things that I'm doing it for is to get smart port support, so I can use my floppy emu hard drive images with the disk drive on the back here, so, or with the disk drive connector. Obviously the 2C has a internal floppy disk drive, which has a floppy in it right now. Kind of a dusty floppy. I should probably clean that off. But it's got a dusty floppy in there. But it wants to boot by default to the to the internal drive. And if you hook up a floppy EMU, then you obviously, if it's defaulting to the internal drive, you can't get it to boot to the external drive. So that's another reason to do the ROM4x. Lemon Herb is saying something. Oh yeah, BMOW has some good instructions for installing replacement ROMs. The change is to allow the 2C to recognize the larger. Oh, okay. So yeah, the change to the motherboard is to allow the 2C to recognize this larger chip. So this is the chip that we're going to be installing. It's the ROM4x, and it is a what's the number? That's actually not exactly the same chip this is. It's a 27C256. It's exactly this chip here. This is a UV erasable EEPROM. So this is the same thing. I just labeled it to cover over the UV port there so it wouldn't get erased. But this is, I guess, larger. This 32K EEPROM chip is larger than the original chip that was on the 2C motherboard for the monitor ROM. So that's, we've got to make some modifications so that it can recognize the larger memory space on that ROM. So I programmed it myself. I don't really know what I'm doing with these things, but I bought one of these XGECU PROM programmers. It's the T48, and I guess this is a pretty common model. And what you do is there's a little diagram here. It shows you the notch orientation goes to the top. So you put your blank chip in here after it's been erased. If it's UV erasable, or if it's electronically erasable, you can put one in here and then electronically erase it using the software. It just connects to a Windows computer using USB. Grab the binary, select the chip type, and then program the ROM. And it's it's pretty cool. It's kind of like if you've ever written to an Arduino and uploaded code to that. Very similar to how these work. I was always kind of intimidated by this as a kid. I thought, I heard of people doing writing ROMs, or actually at the time it was dumping ROMs, Nintendo cartridges or Commodore 64 cartridges. People were dumping the cartridges and then rewriting the ROMs. But that was like way advanced back then. It seemed like something that only, someone with very specialized equipment would be able to do. And now for, what are these, 40, 60 bucks, these writers, you can write your own ROMs. So I've made Commodore 64 cartridges before. I've never made a monitor ROM for a 2C. So it has a checksum. It does a verification while you're writing, or after you're writing to the ROM, and it said it was good. So hopefully it works out. I hear a little like tone. I'm wondering if that's someone leaving a chat message. I looked over and I think I addressed all of Lemon Herb's messages. So thanks for those comments on the side there, because that's helpful. I'm certainly not an expert at this. This is my first 2C that's mine. Quick story about the Apple IIc. I'll tell it while I'm opening so we don't delay any longer. But the Apple IIc was the first computer that I think I ever used. Yeah, it was definitely the first computer I ever used. My mom brought it home from school. She was a school teacher, and she brought the Apple IIc home because it was luggable. It's portable, right? So you've got this handle on the top here, and you can carry the Apple IIc, and they had a special, like, almost like a laptop case, but not a laptop case. This briefcase, soft case for it. And then there was a large, I remember, a soft case for the monitor to go in. So she'd bring the whole setup home on the weekends, and I'd get to play with it. And I remember playing Reader Rabbit. That was one of my favorite games on that little green screen. And I just thought it was the coolest at, what, age 5, 6 maybe years old. I like to keep track of where these came out of. So these are the top two. So I'll put those here. And I think this is the disk drive, and then these are the bottom two. So let's pull the bottom two out. So she'd bring the Apple IIc home. I don't know if you guys can see me here at the bottom. I think you can't. So maybe I should pull this forward a little bit. Yeah. There we go. And do I need to, let me just adjust this. That's good. Yeah, so she'd bring the Apple IIc home. I'd get to play with it, but it wasn't ours. She used it for grades, grade keeping, and testing software. She used to do some basic programs at home, so she'd be ready to share it with her students. And I'm going to take this off too. That's what I did last time. Eventually, she bought an Apple II with her educator discount. She got the Apple IIgs. And so that was the first computer that we ever really owned. But this is the first one that I used. And I was always kind of sad that once we got the 2GS, it just disappeared. And I never really used one again. And then I saw this on Facebook Marketplace. And I thought, well, let me see if I can get this guy to give it to me for a decent price. And he did. So here we are. But it was very dirty. He said it belonged to, I think you need a spudger to open this if I remember correctly. He said it belonged to an old lady, I think was what he said. And she used it, and it came with a ton of her discs. Yeah, you gotta get in here and like push this. There's like I don't remember exactly where it is. Maybe somebody who's watching can tell me what I am doing wrong. I did this right. I think it's right over the speaker, if I'm not mistaken. And you have to, yeah, there it is. I got it. And then you have to just kind of work it out here. Let's take this out. We've got all of the screws, right? See, that's the thing about this, is that it just doesn't feel great to be going into a case like this. And then I think you have to push this back. It's like lift up and push back. Of course, I did a live stream about something that I don't know how to open. The 2GS is a lot easier to open. It's got clips on the back, and there we go. All right, that seems to be. It's got clips on the back. It's very easy, user serviceable. But the 2C being so compact, it's just a little bit harder. Although it would be nice if the screws were more of the positive closure here. And who had a spudger like this back in the day? Nobody, right? I may need a little help. I remember looking this up. Let's see. Apple IIc case. Just looking up on the iPad here. Remove the 6 screws, lift the handle, and dropping the computer to pop the case open. Lifting the handle? What? People do that? Disassemble. Here we go. This is what I did. The iFixit had a good release the catch by pushing it. It's off center. It's in line with the speaker. We did that. Slide the case toward the ports on the back. Then grip under the catch and pull while moving toward the ports to remove. So it's, yeah. It's like there's something holding it on the side too. I feel like I did this way easier the other day. This is the hardest part. I mean, once we get in, the chip is going to be easy to remove, I hope. The way Javier opens it is to leave the disk drive screwed in, deploy the handle, lift from behind about 3 to 5 inches, and drop it. The back pops off and makes it easier to remove the front. Okay, I will try that. I think Javier knows what he's doing, so let's take that advice. Let's see. We will screw the disk drive back in. Got it off the other night, just like I was doing, but when I pulled it off, I was like, oh, I can't believe that I actually did that without cracking the plastic. So all right, lift from behind about 3 to 5 inches and drop it. Deploy the handle. Oh, deploy the handle and lift. Okay. Ah, okay. That's cool. That is doing it, I think. Yeah, and that helps the case come off. Yeah, there it goes. Okay. Front. Of course, that reattached the front, but I think that's okay. Let's see about. There we go. Now that is off. This is very fiddly. I didn't think this would be the highlight of the video, is getting the case open, but so far it is. We're almost 15 minutes in, and I haven't gotten the case off. Let's see. Oh, I bumped my head on the camera, sorry. Alright, let's try this again. Yeah, it's coming off on the back. Drive bezel grips part of the case. You're right, it does. Yes, that is another place that I released. Lemon Herb, thanks for being here tonight. You're really helping me out with this. Yeah, the drive bezel is gripping it a little bit, but not. Well, it keeps getting reattached on the front now. But it is. Shredding that spudger, but I guess better to shred the spudger than the case. At least that plastic is soft. Yeah, it's like right here that's holding it on. Well, should I drop it one more time? I don't think that's the issue. Oh, there we go. Okay. Pop these backs off a little bit. Yeah, that is it. It's coming slowly but surely. I might have a BMW, Big Mess of Wires, the modification coming in too next week, so I might leave this apart. Okay, the handle is out. I might leave this apart until I can get both modifications, but we'll definitely test it tonight. But we can test it with the cover off. I might just leave the cover off. Try popping the piece on the bottom. Try popping the bottom of the back piece from the bottom tray. Oh, like this bezel. This comes off. The bottom of the back piece from the bottom tray. Yeah, it's coming off. Let's just take the spudger and go in here. It needs to come forward, or back, I guess. The whole top needs to come this way to come out. Yeah, you only need the keyboard connected to the 2C to get it to start. I guess the 2C doesn't want to start if it doesn't sense a keyboard connected, which is kind of unusual. I don't know if the Apple IIe does that. I mean, it obviously has an integrated keyboard, but I don't know if it cares. I feel like I'm missing something here. I definitely did this the other night and it wasn't this hard. Why is it so hard? It's hard because people are watching, that's why. Both, yeah, 2E and 2C will automatically run the self-diagnostic. Although I don't know if the original 2E has a self-diagnostic. I think it just doesn't start. I'm not sure. The 2C, yeah. Okay. Needs to come back. We need to get the, there we go. Come on. Man, I can't imagine doing this in the 80s when there weren't replacement cases and you just were sort of doing this yourself and there was no internet. Nobody showing you the right way to do it on YouTube. If I were shooting this for not live, I would definitely be editing this part out. Open the drive latch, okay? Open the drive latch. The drive latch is open. But we're just stuck right here. It's this part that's maybe stuck. Why is it so hard? Drive latch is open. This wants to... The iFix, it says lift the front and push toward the back, but that seems crazy. I mean, I don't know what they're talking about because it doesn't want to just lift. There's like connections every few inches on here. Well, the first hour of the live stream is me getting the case off, hopefully without breaking it. No. Okay. Front is off. Okay. Oh. I am missing 2 screws. That's going to make it really hard. That is going to make it really hard. Well, better now than never. Noticing that, but that is going to definitely make it really hard. Okay, there we go. All right, that makes much more sense. I was really hesitant to pull it any harder than that. All right. Whew. That makes sense. Whoops. Cristobal says, touch it in the back. It's an old Jerky Boys reference. Very good. Okay, so I'm going to open a window and turn on the fan. All right. Now, may not even need to take the yeah, monitor right here. It's in the front, so we don't even really need to take this this floppy drive out. We can just take the keyboard out because the monitor ROM is right underneath it. Yeah, I could flip it back or just I'm just gonna pull it out, get it out of the way, and then I'm gonna use my nice puller here, because this is monitor here. My little puller. I don't have, do I have one of those? No, I usually use this thing. I like this thing better than the claw. Just as long as you go slowly, get it up without an issue. Okay, so the monitor ROM is out, and it looks like the orientation is notch to the left. So let's pull notch to the left. And I need to bend these a little bit. Of course my sticker is upside down. I don't know if it's upside down. It's whatever way the printing was, I think. Maybe the printing is upside down on this. No, doesn't matter. All right, we'll push it in. And now, maybe you want to see if I can get a little closer. Yeah, let's get this out of the way and turn, because you probably want to see a little bit more on the screen here. Yeah, sorry about the bounciness of the of this. So that's where it is, and then what we need to do is go back to, I have some instructions here on the iPad, so bear with me a second because I'm just following along, and I'll post this in the description afterward once this goes on the channel where it's not live and I've got a little time to clean things up. But slide the keyboard forward, being careful, flip it over and place it on top of the internal drive. Locate W1 on the main logic board and cut through the join point of the two triangles. So W1 is right here, and the triangles are, let's see, I want to get you even closer if I can. Yeah. So W1 is right here, and they want you to cut that. And then locate the triangles W2 and connect them with a soldering iron. I'm going to turn on my iron to start heating it up. So W2 is where? There's W1. And W2 is W2 is like it's a diamond shape. W1 is two triangles, and then W2 is a diamond shape, and I don't see it. W1, W2. I'm gonna put these guys on. I am gonna go back into the chat in case someone else is coming. There are two tie cuts yet. One you have to cut, the other to solder together. So let me see if I can find W2. W1. Well, let's do W1 while we're here. Take the X-Acto blade. Oh, my hair is in the way, sorry. I'll try to do it without getting my hair in the way, my head in the way. It's still in the way, isn't it? All right. There's a delay on the live stream, so it's hard for me to tell. It's by the MMU on the right side of the board. Okay, so there's the MMU. Oh, I see it. W2. Very easy to see. It's facing me. I guess I just didn't think to look between the two chips, so that'll be easy. We will just solder that together. It's just off frame here. The W2 is over here. Okay. We just need to break the connection between these two. I might use a little bit more aggressive tool. That's a little, you know, when you wanna, when you don't want to destroy a trace or something on a board, it's easy to do. This is pretty, yeah. There it goes. Okay, it's starting to delaminate and break those off. It'd be nice if it was a solder blob and I could just desolder it. I think I may have broken through. I'm going to grab my tester, my ohm meter, and just ohm it out and see if it's truly broken or if it just looks like it. Let's see. Yeah, it's broken now. Good enough. Very good. And now W2, we will put a solder blob. So this should be pretty easy. Let's see. W2. Yep. Let's just make sure that that is. All right, W2 is connected, W1 is disconnected. Now, we just need to reconnect the keyboard. I'm going to zoom you back out again here. Yeah. Put the keyboard back in. I'm going to do a little bit of cleanup so I have room on the desk here for the monitor, and then I'll just disconnect the camera from the mount and show you the monitor as it comes on. Put this away for now. Don't need the spudger. And the handle we want not to disappear or get broken. Okay. Monitor. And I remember this this brick, I was explaining that it was my childhood computer, and the one thing I remember the most about this was this brick, this external Apple IIc power brick. Now I've been hesitant to leave this plugged in. Maybe somebody in the comments can tell me what you think about it. I know, like, with the Apple IIe, if you haven't rebuilt your power supply, there's always the risk that it goes pop and the reefer caps explode. I don't think that's the case with these external bricks for the 2C, but I don't know. Should I be worried about leaving it plugged in? Should I be rebuilding this brick? I haven't seen anything online about people doing that, but maybe it's something I should be concerned about. I don't leave the monitor plugged in either, which is why this is all disconnected. Okay, I did have the monitor apart. I didn't live stream that. I had the monitor apart the other night because it had some waviness, and I thought maybe the caps are bad at the power supply, but they weren't, and I think it was just an interference on the actual composite cable. So, don't bother. Lemon Herb says, don't bother trying to rebuild the brick. The plastic shell is welded together. You'll make a mess of it if you try. Yeah, like the Commodore bricks that are in the epoxy. Yeah, those make a huge mess. Let's see, what's the easiest way for me to try to show you this screen? Is that gonna work? Is that crazy to try to do it like this? That might work. I don't know. Let's turn this down. It's actually not bad. It's a little crazy, but who said it wouldn't work? Okay. I don't love that it's just like balancing on this medicine bottle, but maybe I'll just put another medicine bottle underneath. Give you two of them. Yeah, we'll do that. Put two identically sized medicine bottles on either side. That'll balance this. And then hopefully it doesn't fall. Yeah, there we go. Okay, let's power it on. Now, wait, before we power it on, I do want to flip up this under here and just make sure. Okay, we've got the ROM in. We did both of those things. We followed the instructions for the two pads. Before we get crazy. Oh, I see what happened. I raised it up and now it's a lot closer to the screen. Okay, I don't like that. Let's go back down. And we'll go lower and we'll balance it on the one bottle. Ooh, what was that? A little flicker of some kind. It's like, oh, it's going on and off, that's why. Not super tight. Okay. Just gonna read through that manual one more time. I did the two triangles. We changed the monitor IC. Secure the cover, attach the back panel, turn it upright again, install the upgrade sticker on the back panel of the machine, plug the power cord in, reconnect all other peripherals, and run the diagnostics. Okay, very good. Let's try it. Hey, Alex, yeah, thanks for joining. Got a cool project on the bench. You're just in time for us to power it on and either blow it up or see it work. So thanks for joining. I'm going to flip the switch and we'll see if we have successfully upgraded ROM4x or if it's back to the drawing board. 3, 2, 1. Well, it says Apple IIc, no bootable device. Okay, so then closed Apple control reset should bring us into, yes, we can go into the drop to monitor, reboot, zero the RAM cart, run diagnostics. You see, there's that ripple. That's the ripple. If someone knows what that might be, that would be super helpful. I think it might be coming from here, and maybe it has something to do with the 2C power supply. I didn't see, just a cursory look on the inside and some reading online. I didn't see anything in here, but you can see this ripple. No explosion, yeah. No explosion. So I don't know what the ripple is. It kind of comes and goes, and it's almost like 260 hertz things are happening, but not exactly in sync, and they drift. That's what I'm thinking. It's like almost what do they call it? Like an interference pattern, right? Where you've got two very similar frequencies sort of beating on each other. Yeah, like in radio you have you'll have things beat, they call it, where you get that interference pattern. So I think that's what this is. But anyway, let's actually try doing something with the ROM4x. So yeah, you could do boot smart port. I'm going to boot from the floppy emu in a few minutes here. Hey, there it is. It's, and I don't, yeah, see if I mess with the monitor, with the cable, it kind of also does it. So it's like, could it be the cable? I don't know. Yeah, I think it's the cable and the connection. Yeah, see, it's happening here. It's something with this connection. So maybe maybe I should pull the board out. Yeah, maybe a loose jack. I think that's what it is. I think it's a loose jack. Yeah, and it's just like, yeah, that is what it is. Well, good. So I had the whole monitor apart, but that wasn't the issue. It's just a loose jack on the 2C. Motherboard. Okay, enough. I'm chasing. Yeah, can we? Yeah, it's just a loose jack. Well, maybe we'll fix that. Maybe we'll fix that tonight. We'll see how far we get. Diagnostics. Let's run the diagnostics, number 3. So it's doing something. I think that's what the diagnostics look like. Yeah. Okay, they're moving now. That's just probably putting different things in RAM, and we're actually physically seeing it. I'm gonna forget to turn my soldering iron off. I'll do that. So it's putting, you know, writing values to RAM. Some of that's video RAM, so we're seeing it. And I imagine it may do some sounds. I'm turning the volume up in case there's some sound. System okay. as it waves all over the place here. Yeah, system okay. Good. Escape. We'll just do closed Apple control reset. RAM card diagnostics. I don't know. Do we have a RAM card in? Ugh, this is like worse now that I have pulled on it. We might have to fix this before we go any further. Let me see if I. It could also be just, this is really. I'm gonna put a little deoxit on it because there's just a tiny bit, and then rub it around the ground. I think it's like bad ground on the outer sleeve. Yeah, that's what it is. Well, no, it's a bad jack and a bad ground. It's a combination of things. Am I sure about RAM card diagnostics? Yes. Yeah, there's no RAM. I was going to say, there's no RAM card in here. It is what it is, right? So let's see. One reboot. What does one do? Yeah, just reboots. And it says, oh, ROM4x 10.1.18. Cool. Is that what I wrote on here? Does that say 10.1.18? 2018 10.1. Yeah. I don't know if that's the most recent version. I think it is. I found it. It was hard to find the binary. It wasn't on GitHub. I had to go Googling around. I guess the original binary contains some potentially copyrighted, potentially copyrighted code on it. I know Microsoft just open sourced their original BASIC, Microsoft BASIC from the 80s. They made that open source. So, you know, maybe Apple will someday soon make all of their ROM code from these vintage machines open source. It would be nice because then it would allow people to really tinker with this stuff and distribute things without worrying about, well, am I redistributing something that was a copyrighted code back when this was released. So the person who created ROM4x doesn't release it with the original code that came on the ROM from Apple. He just releases the changes, and then you need to either dump your own ROM, which you could do. I guess I could do that, right? I got the ROM out. I could dump the ROM with my reader and writer, and then make the modifications myself. But then you can also find it online. I think Reactive Micro has it posted there. So there are places where it's available, but it's sort of I guess it's like it's legally gray area of, is this ROM able to be distributed by hobbyists or not? Okay, well let's turn it off and get the floppy emu and see if we can boot from like a smart port drive. Sorry, I'm just stepping over here and getting my floppy emu. Here it is in the Drive 2 case that I 3D printed for it. So I'll put that here. Where's the best place to put it where you guys can see it? Maybe up here. We'll move the hot holder out of the way. Put it up here. And it's gonna go, oh, of course, on the 2C, what am I doing? Oh, yeah, here, it's gonna be in the way. No, it just fits. It just fits on here. I wanna make sure that I have got it in the right, the right port. I almost put it in the monitor port. It just fits next to the RCA jack. Yeah, this is cool. Lemon Herb just said that looks cool. This was a cool project. Somebody designed it. I think it was on Thingiverse. Might have been on GitHub. Just floppy emu disk 2 3D printable. Search for it. All open source and stuff. And then I ordered a little board from PCBWay, and they printed it, and it let you break out the buttons on the front so that this little OLED screen and the LED, they're all, you kind of pop them off the main board. Well, the LED, you bring it up from the main board, and then this, rather than mounting it flush with the main board, you mount it 90 degrees from the board, which is laying flat in here. And then there's a PCB here that you just mount the micro switches on. All in all, it was pretty easy to do. The hardest part was just waiting for the PCB from China to come in. Okay, I'm going to hold down the closed Apple key on the keyboard and turn it on. And that brings me right into this, this new menu. And I'm going to say boot smart port. Well, let me first change the smart port to something that, smart port images. Pixel Parade? I don't know if that might be a 2GS specific thing, but let's try it. Boot smart port number 5. No bootable device. Oh, because I didn't exit and start the disks. You have to do that. So control reset. I've never done closed Apple control reset on I've done option control reset on the 2GS, but never on an Apple II before to do anything. It's kind of cool. Boot smart port 5. Yes, and the light lit up. Yeah, so now it's booting, and it works. Pixel Parade. 8-Bit Shack presents Pixel Parade. It's working. Kind of. Yes. Very cool. What kind of switches are in the Apple IIc? Are they Alps Amber? I think so. I don't know. I don't remember. I pull one of the keycaps off. Let's pull the J key off and see. I don't know. Can you tell? Can you see the J key? You can't because I've got this angled in a way that you can't see the whole keyboard. There we go. I don't know if they're Alps Amber. How would I know? They just look black and white. When you said amber, I thought, well, maybe these are amber. Yeah, these were like yellow for the switches, but I don't know what these are, if they're Alps Amber or not. Maybe you can tell me by looking at it. I mean, they feel fine. I don't remember exactly what my 2C felt like. My mom's loaner 2C from the school department felt like back in the day to type on, because I didn't really type. I mean, I was so little. It was just like hunt and peck and type letter, press letters more than typing. So cool. Well, SmartPort works. Let's try another game. So open, closed Apple control. The Alps keyboard PCB. Alps keyboard has a green PCB mounted on the metal frame. Okay. You mean this metal frame? This is a plastic frame, and this is the green. It's a green PCB. But I don't know what the switch types are. Sorry. This is a 1984. It says, yeah. And what was I gonna say? Oh, it's the ROM original, build code was 256, so it's one of the early boards. Yeah, this is not an Alps keyboard. No, I don't think so. No. When was Alps? It has those weird. Yes, it had the weird spring clip ones. On the live stream I did last week, Lemon Herb said it has the weird spring clip key switches. Those were terrible, and they were all crunchy. And I read online you could just remove them, and so I did. I just took them all out. And here they are. Let's see. How can I do this so you can see? This is a little out of focus. I'm sorry. It's hard to focus on two planes here: the monitor and the keyboard. Let's see if you can see these. Yeah, these are the little switches, the springs, and I just took them out. I just used the needle nose tweezers and ended up just pulling them all out, and the keyboard works so much better now. I don't think they're really needed. They just kind of go bad and make everything really crunchy. So anyway, oh, what was I going to do? I was going to try another emulation mode with the floppy emu. So system info will emulate a 5 1/4 floppy, and then what we want to do is see what's in 5 1/4 floppy disks. So there's demos. There's not many demos. Games. Apple II robots, yeah, like Petsky robots. Let's try that. Let's see if we can boot into the 8-bit guys Petsky robots. So closed Apple control reset. Boot from an external 5 1/4, which is number 7. And yeah, it's flashing. We're getting ProDOS 8 on the screen. Waking up the robots. Hey, it works. Pabu says, he's the one who asked if it was an Alps keyboard. He says, they're not, but thanks for checking. Hey, some sound. A little crunchiness on that potentiometer, the volume knob, but not bad. Waking up the robots. Start game. It totally works to boot. Now, I'd heard that some games and whatnot don't like to boot from the external drive with ROM4x, that for some reason you'll tell it to boot from that drive and then it will revert back to looking at the internal drive, and that can cause problems. I obviously haven't encountered that yet, but I suppose that's always a possibility. So I do have the floppy emu or big mess of wires external board that you're supposed to plug in, and you can do some switching with it as well, so that you kind of trick the 2C into thinking that the external drive is the internal drive, or the external drive is drive 1 and the internal drive is drive 2, and that gives you sort of a foolproof hardware solution to using an external drive as your boot drive. So when that comes in, I'll install it, and then let's see, what else can we try with this? Let's go control reset. See if there's any other. Oh, there's Angry Birds. Let's try Angry Birds. 7 for the external 5 1/4. 4x. Very cool. Looks like it's gonna work also. This needs a joystick. It's gonna say connected joystick. Yeah, joystick seems to be not connected. Always heard not to connect a joystick while the computer was on, so I'm going to follow that. Turn it off. Is it going to be happier now? Hopefully. System check passed. Enjoy your game. 8-bit shack. Yeah, that wave display cable issue is a lot better now. So if it's really just that connection, that would be great. I probably can easily resolder it if that. I thought I reflowed the solder on here. You know what's helping the cable connection too, the RCA connection for the composite video is it composite if it's just black and white? It's just Luma. There's no chroma. I don't know. Would you call that composite video? Does that even make sense? Is that like not a backronym, but like we call it composite because it's Luma and chroma in one signal, but if it's just Luma, there's no composite. It's just the one, so it's just Luma. Anyway, this connector here that's connecting the floppy emu is pressing against this and holding it firm, and it's not waving anymore. So here's Angry Birds. And you can play. Let's just play. I'll turn up the volume so you can hear it. Yeah. Oh, perfect. This looks better on a color screen. I mean, it's cool for nostalgia to use the green screen, but it's also nice that this supports. Oh, 2 for 2. It's nice that it supports color output for, composite monitor or whatever you want. I wonder, what's the output on that? I've never plugged anything into. I'm gonna stop. I've never plugged anything into the display port on here. What kind of signal comes out of there? I don't know. I'd have to look that up. I don't know if it's an RGB signal similar to the 2GS or if it uses that other RGB. I think that had like the red and the green flipped. I don't know. It'd be cool to make up a cable that comes out of here and then goes into my open source scan converter and lets me get HDMI out of here. I don't know if that's an easy possibility too. So, okay, well, I think we've had success with the, I think we can say that we had success with the ROM4x upgrade, and in just under an hour. I think that's pretty good. I am happy with that result. It would have been a half an hour if I had found those 2 screws sooner. I don't know, Alex, if you think you weren't here for it, but you can always Someone, Lemon Herb says, don't plug any RGB monitor into that port. Okay, I'll look up what the port does before I just start experimenting with it. I probably wouldn't have just plugged anything into it anyway. I'd want to know what was coming out of it. But yeah, Alex, if you're there and you didn't see the beginning, I'm struggling trying to get the cover off of this, and it is fiddly to get off. I'll give myself that, but I forgot 2 screws, so I'm sitting there pulling, and it's not coming apart, and there's 2 more screws that I'd forgotten about. I had this apart last week, and I did it right, beginner's luck the first time, and then I did a live stream and forgot 2 of the screws, and looked like an idiot while I was trying to pry the thing apart while it was still screwed together. But okay, fortunately I didn't break anything. Yeah, I probably won't mess with this more tonight, but I do think that the outer shield here is the main issue. I did some deoxit. I might just put some contact cleaner on the inside, but I think that's the main issue. I don't think it's like a solder. I did reflow the solder when I had the board out. So maybe the next live stream I do with this, we'll take a look at the big mess of wires modification to flip-flop the external and internal drives. But I'm going to leave it apart. Do I have any? I don't have any empty medicine cases. I like to keep, so I have all these projects. I've got my Nintendo and Famicom controller screws. This is the Famicom body screws. I've got a Famicom apart. I've got my Apple IIc keyboard springs. I use these medicine bottles to keep my projects parts together. So I think we're good. We just have the 2 up here that are these 2 screws, and then 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 screws there. Yeah. So I'll find a way to keep those together for the next week while I wait for the floppy kit to come in. So that's it. I think we'll end the stream here. Thanks for you guys for hanging in there and your suggestions and help about how to get this together. Turn the lights up a little. Glad we were able to get the ROM4x in and working. And I just want to I should probably stick this on in some kind of protective case so I have my original monitor ROM as well. So. Oh yeah, the iFixit project mats. I think this is magnetic too. It is. Yeah, these stay in here. But I end up, I take things apart, and like for these, I'm never going to put them back in. But I don't want to throw them away. So this keeps them together. The Famicom project I'm working on, I'm waiting for some parts from China. It could be weeks. So I don't want to leave them all, and I don't want to leave the screws in the mat. I'll forget what they are, honestly. I'll go on to the next thing, and I'll forget that these are the Famicom screws. So this lets me keep everything labeled and organized. Yeah, I guess I could put them on the mat and label with an Expo marker. But for the amount of time I leave things, months, sometimes years before I put them back together again. Anyway, thanks everybody for joining me. I'm going to end the stream here, and if we get the other item in the next week or so, we'll have another live stream. So thanks for joining me on this episode of Levi's Digital Voyage. I hope you'll find your way back here for the next Digital Voyage.